Welcome back in. Some of the best stories are between segments, I'm telling you. That's why we don't people ask me, why don't you periscope the show? Reasons like that, the best stuff you don't need to hear about. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. Christmas coming up. If you want to set up a new audio-video system for someone in your life, you want to make sure they know that on Christmas morning you say, hey, this is what's coming in January or February. We're doing this for you. High-end equipment, custom designed for your space. Best prices in town. Safety Systems and VFL. J.J. Surlis, the team to call. All right, let's take a look over at the Safety Systems whiteboard over there. There it is. Now you know it's to the right of me on schedule on the set here. What we've got last year, 12 SEC teams were bowl eligible. This year there will be only 10. We list the bowls there from biggest money to smallest money: College Playoff, Sugar, Citrus, Outback, Texas, and then down to Music City, TaxSlayer, Belk, Liberty, Birmingham, and you see the SEC teams at the bottom there. I just wanted to quickly step through and explain to people, Alabama's going to be in the playoff. Everybody knows that. Playoff picks first. They'll be in the playoff. Sugar Bowl was a playoff game last year. This year it's not. So the highest-ranked SEC team, which happens to also be a team that hasn't been since 1970, Ole Miss, goes there. After that, the Citrus Bowl can do their own thing. They are not assigned by the SEC. They don't have to abide by SEC rules. The SEC can say, look, don't drop a champion below some team they finished in front of, but the Citrus Bowl technically doesn't have to listen. When you look at the Citrus Bowl over at the big screen there, you'll notice that they have come out and said Florida is probably their choice. LSU and Georgia also getting consideration. Then you get into the pool of 6: Outback, Texas, Music City, TaxSlayer, Belk, and Liberty. The SEC, what happens, as you guys have heard, but the bowls turn in a list of who they want, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The teams turn in a list of bowls, what they want. The SEC then tries to match it up fairly and tries to keep everyone happy. Yeah, good luck with that. And what you're seeing there, Jimmy, and see if you agree with this, if you've noticed this, Outback Bowl they're looking at Tennessee and Florida if Florida drops. Texas Bowl, everybody thinks LSU is going to wind up there now. Music City has come out and said Georgia A&M and UT are who they're looking at. TaxSlayer looking at Georgia and LSU, and you look last year, Tennessee was 6-6. This year they're in a 9-3 team or an 8-3 team, which tells you how things went in Tennessee's favor last year. Belk Bowl looking at Mississippi State, maybe Tennessee, although it's doubtful. Liberty, they're pretty much honed in on Arkansas at the moment. Is that kind of what jives with what you've read, seen, heard?
It does. And the one thing, the X factor is Florida, because I'm hearing Florida, Citrus, or TaxSlayer. And if that's the case, Tennessee's likely going to the Outback Bowl. The Belk Bowl kind of fell off the table there for a while after they were in the hunt, because I'm hearing they're going to take Virginia Tech. Well, Tennessee's playing Virginia Tech in the battle at Bristol, so the SEC doesn't want that matchup. So I think Tennessee's more likely headed Outback.
It's funny, you've got a lot of these teams that are now impacting us. I mean, they look like the Texas Bowl would like to get Texas Tech against Texas A&M. Texas A&M doesn't want that because they open the next season at Houston, and I don't know that they necessarily want to play Texas Tech right now. So they don't want to end the season in Houston and then start it in Houston. But the thing that interests me about all this and these lists, and you can go ahead and put it up there, Cruz. There you go. The thing that I find interesting is last year we did the same thing, and no one tied Tennessee. You didn't know Tennessee was aiming for the TaxSlayer. You didn't know the TaxSlayer was aiming at Tennessee. So there's still, as much as these bowls are now coming out there, more of them are doing it this year than last year, but as much as these bowls are coming out and saying, yeah, this is who we're looking at, do you trust them? I mean, do you think there's some gamesmanship going on?
Sure.
Okay, good answer. Don't you care to expound on it? You just don't trust them?
I'm going to go, I trust them a little bit more this year. I think you look at the records of the teams bowl eligible in the SEC, and I think it kind of, you can't sort of look at it and you see a pecking order right here. So I don't think you're going to have the big teams.
You didn't see that last year? I mean, didn't we see that last year?
No, you had the big surprise with Tennessee, but you also had 2 more teams in there, and you had a little bit worse record set up. So I think you're looking at a little bit more quality SEC teams this year, which takes some of that gamesmanship out of it.
The interesting thing, you've got 3 teams at 8-4. You've got Ole Miss, which is highest ranked, so they're up. But you got Florida, Georgia, LSU. To me, the one bowl that I would keep an eye on today that could be the turning point for Tennessee, good and bad, Citrus Bowl.
Yeah.
Citrus Bowl technically could say, all right, Florida's lost 2 in a row. Tennessee's won 5 straight. Tennessee hasn't been, they were down here in 2000, 2001. Florida was there in 2007, I think, so it's been longer for Tennessee. Florida won't bring the fans. It's not all about fans, and we'll discuss this later. Florida could bring not as many fans as Tennessee. I think they could take Tennessee there. I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility. It's unlikely, but I don't think it's erased. On the other side, I think that they could. They've talked also about LSU, Michigan. If they took LSU, I don't think the SEC allows Florida to drop below Tennessee, so then Tennessee goes down Music City or Belk. Unlikely, just like last year's was unlikely. But I think the Citrus Bowl is the one to watch. Jimmy.
On Friday a year ago, there was one source at Tennessee that told me, said, don't count out the Tax Slayer Bowl. Well, I did. So this Friday, he told me don't count out the Citrus.
Yeah.
He said there's a very small chance of the Citrus
So
Bowl.
you're gonna
just
count
the
it
way
out or
you,
not?
No,
You-
not this year.
Okay.
So, but just like what you said, there's some things at work where Tennessee could end up in the Citrus. It's not likely. The higher percentage is Outback. They could end up, and then the Music City I think would be next. I think the Belk Bowl is probably a big is off the table probably. But this guy said don't completely rule out the Citrus.
You can make a very good case, especially if you're not looking at the TV stuff, and we'll discuss that later. TV role between Tennessee and Florida, the corporate sponsors have changed the game a little bit. It used to all be about fans and travel. Now you got corporate sponsors and TV deals that pay for most of the bowl. So yeah, you want to keep the Chamber of Commerce happy, but you also want to make money. The way you make money and the way you keep sponsors is you have a high-rated bowl game. You want a name brand coming to watch your game. And we'll talk about the difference between Florida and Tennessee in terms of TV ratings this year and the bowl games last year. But right now, we're going to make our predictions a little later. But right now, we're looking Citrus possibility, Outback most likely, possibly Music City if things don't break your way. Does everybody feel safe in those three?
As long
And then it'll be
as
some other thing again.
as long as the Belk Bowl is going to take Virginia Tech, that's going to be off the table. But if something happened there, that could be in play if they don't take Virginia Tech.
If they don't take Virginia Tech.
And I don't think people should be all that upset with the Music City Bowl if you get a good matchup. If that's where Tennessee went, and you're playing a quality opponent,
Penn
I think
State
it's
is what they're
good.
looking at. They're looking at trying to match them with Penn State and James Franklin.
Which would be a fun bowl game. Okay. When we come back, we got more bowl predictions to come. We're going to break down some stuff, show you some numbers that are very interesting in terms of TV ratings. Which is the bigger TV draw, Florida or Tennessee? We'll talk about that. Next, we're going to get specific with the basketball team. Come on back on the Sports Source.